All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ethan, and I want to start my presentation with my team will fix my course with a story. And a story is something that a lot of us high school students actually face. And this is a number of days, or weeks actually, number of weeks that students actually miss out on a lot of productive school time at the beginning of every semester due to a common problem we all face, and that is, what if we don't like the courses we're taking? So we're at school, this is our lunch table, this is our timetable, and we go, wait, I don't want my fourth period class to be that course. So what do? You go to your guidance room, and suddenly you see this entire line of people waiting to change their courses. And what do? You fill out a pink sheet of paper, you go, here's what I want to drop, here's what I want to take instead, hand it in, and guidance will get back to you between day 1 and day 20. And by day 20, they'll tell you whether they can change your course. If they can't, do you have any other options? And if you can, you go to that new course and you already missed 3 weeks of school and your teacher has to run you through 3 weeks of notes, which is absolutely brutal. And we thought there must be a better way to do this, and that's exactly what we did. So we created a course changer that is exactly a supplement to what we already have, such as career cruising, where when career cruising messes up, we clean up their mess. So, we start with student input, and this is what we already have, right? You put in your unique student ID, and you put in your existing courses that you want to change. And when you put in your student ID, the school system already knows what you've taken and what you are eligible to continue to take. And Fix My Course will look at this and go, oh crap, this student doesn't have English, so they can't graduate. You go up the list. Or this person wants to switch one math course, one period to the next period. So not a huge issue, let's bring this person down the list, because that's fair. And any direct matches, for example, which is not currently being addressed, such as if student A tries to get course A to course X to course Z, and student B has the course that student A wants, but wants the course that student A is trying to drop, guidance, if they process one at a time, will never see that link where 2 requests could be processed by switching the requests. And that's something that we can do, because we're going to get all the requests at the same time and sort out all the direct matches and all the other possible outcomes. So instead of guidance calling you down, looking at your paper and telling you what options you have, the software will exactly tell you what you have by looking at what courses you have that you want to drop, what is available during the slot of time that you're willing to replace a course for, and also if you want the course but it's not in the available time that you want to drop your other course for, it could show you all the other times that course is available, so you can make a decision that way. So after you make that decision, here's what guidance counselors are going to see. In the first 3 weeks of school, this is what they usually do. They do individual meetings with students, 10 to 15 minutes per consultation, where they essentially read you what their computer spits out anyway. And then they sort your application on a one-by-one basis, which takes a lot of time. Now, guidance has an open list of all of their options. They have the chance to authorize all of the possible matches online. And then when they see that your matches have nothing with the other students, unfortunately, they'll send it back out through an email system to show you what options you do have, and you can send a request through email. This can cut time significantly lower, as our mentor, Mr. Kwan, who is a student who is a teacher at Boss, Baroque, he knows this because all of us missed around 3 weeks of productivity time because of this issue. And so essentially our product offers the guidance department the chance to give students the freedom to choose what courses they want to take. It gives them all of their options. At the same time, it is a reliable way to make sure no paper gets missed, and at the end, class time is saved and everybody is happy. And just to save this whole thing and tie it into a package, we're going to create a white label product. Meaning that if we go to WireDSB, it's going to be implemented within WireDSB with their own branding, and that's part of our customer retention plan.
Right, so basically our main customers is going to be, we're going to be targeting high schools. And basically we're going to target schools one by one, and once we get big enough, we're going to try and target entire school boards and market the products, market our product to entire school boards where they can integrate into individual high schools. Our end users are going to be students and guidance counselors, and from here, I'm just making a note, teachers can benefit a large deal from this too, because they're saving tons of education and time that they could have basically educated their students if they hadn't missed it. So it's our target market. It's high schools basically. Students, and here's the end users. Students are benefited because they can make course changes with ease, and they don't have to wait in line or wait for their name to be called on announcements and get called down and wait 15 minutes in the office just to be told no, which is spit out by the computer. And guidance counselors are happy because their process is way more optimized, and they have a much more efficient way of handling things now.
So the way we're going to generate money through this idea is we're going to use a tier-based system. for everybody in the school. So the cost is around $2-3 per school. And in Ontario alone, there's 638,000 secondary students. So if we get around $3 per student, that's $1.8 million. So as there's more students per school, we expect the prices to slightly lower to maybe $1.50, $1.80, just so larger schools aren't paying incredible amounts just for our piece of software.
Oh, and here's the market data. So basically right now what's happening is schools are beginning to digitalize. They're moving their courses, their more options online, and their computer systems for schools are also becoming more advanced. And these are some of the schools, softwares that schools have already adapted to, as we mentioned. So there's Career Cruising, which is a course tuning software, Teach Assist, which is where you can view your marks online, My Blueprint, which is another course selecting software, and Moodle is basically an online classroom. So I'm going to be talking about the competition. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the competition. Now we are going to be more focusing on optimizing. We are an optimizing engine. We're not going to be competing with things like Career Cruising. We're just going to give guidance counselors a plug and play type of engine where they can use, with Career Cruising, and we can just clean up their mess. And this is going to be, we're not going to have real competition, we're going to just sell this engine.
Okay. So for growth. So at first, the main targets are going to be high schools and post-secondary education systems. And we have already software. So initially, we want to start with private schools. Maybe we start with one school here or there. So we start with one school. And then with one school, we build up our reputation, we see that's reliable, collect more data. Then we move to other schools, and more schools, and more schools. And then from there, once we get maybe around 5 to 10 schools, we can move on to the educational system, the whole board. Then from the board, we can move on to the province, and then from the province, we can go on from there.
Got a wrap.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Judges?
So I was a little confused by something you said. You said that we were going to white label, and then you said it's an optimized engine, and then you said you're going to do a subscription model.
Yeah. So the plan is we're gonna basically offer the service to implement a software into the school system and tailor it towards their own school board. So then they can label that piece of software as their own school boards. And then to operate on that piece of software, we're going to charge a subscription-based fee on an
Oh, you're going to
basis.
license it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But what your product is, again, it really is it's a calculator, isn't this?
Yes.
Really,
Yeah.
it's just there's a portal, you input all the factors, and it churns out the ideal optimal output
Yeah.
scenario, right? So right now, if you look at the transport business uses this a lot already for at least 5 years now, is they have trucks that go around routes, and again, some trucks don't want to stop here because of traffic, and they do that already. So, sometimes you might need to think before proprietarily developing this, could you not lift that model and put in the right algorithms and
Yeah.
cut out a lot of the development costs?
Yeah.
That would definitely be doable. Thank you.
You said you want to approach first of all private schools
Yes.
and then go into the schools in the school board.
Yes.
Is this an online model? Is there a download? Is there a piece of software?
It's integrated with the school's course organization system.
Because that's partially what my other company does, but you can't go into one school. You go into the school board as a whole, or you don't go in.
Yeah.
And it's a very nasty process to go through. So private schools and Catholic schools are very different. They're on their own, but the public school board, you can't go into one school by itself.
Yeah, so part of the reason we wanted private schools first is because there is less bureaucracy, as the principal has way more power than a public school principal. So if we can get a private school to be our proof of concept and say here's what they're doing already, then it's a lot easier to approach bigger school boards and say this would also work in your school as well.
Just wondering
Yes.
if you had considered, there are software products that the school boards are already using to manage the course allocations, because they have to do that to assign teachers and facilities and logistics and all that stuff, and class sizes.
Yeah.
So rather than just doing a product and selling into the school board, would it be an option to take your idea and sell it to the company that's already in the school boards with whatever software program
Potentially, that's also an idea too.
Yeah.
One more question? No? Okay, thanks guys.